I'm glad someone likes that I post these videos where I'm struggling with art, because I was worried they get kind of annoying. Because I'm aware that a lot of it is just me posting a video complaining about how hard it is to draw something, and then a couple days later I post the full drawing. I was worried people might think it's just complaining to complain, because honestly it kind of is. I make these videos as a form of rubber ducking. If you don't know what rubber ducking is, it's a creative term where you talk out whatever issue you're having in your creative process, and it can be for anything: art, writing, video editing, literally anything. You just talk out the problem you're having to a rubber duck, something that's not necessarily going to give you any advice, because that's not really the point. The point is to understand the problem you're having so that you can solve it. So when I make these videos and I'm going, here's what I'm trying to do, here's what's not working, here's what I've tried, it helps me process all those things and helps me figure out a solution. Like with this piece, I talked about how much trouble I was having with the rendering, and eventually I got there, and it turned out to be a really big step for me in figuring out how to render. With this piece, I talked about how hard it was to figure out Blitz's head and horn shape, and once I did that, it helped me process what exactly wasn't working until I did get the shape right. And on the Blitz one, people did offer advice, and that advice genuinely helped. But a lot of times, people will offer advice that I'll kind of ignore. Not because it's bad, just because it's not the point. Just talking about it is the point. But advice is not unwelcome either. Like, for example, with the video this comment is from, I was talking about how hard it was to try and draw Millie pregnant, crouched down next to Stola. I couldn't figure out where to put her belly. And I had people point out that this particular pose would be almost impossible for a full-term pregnant woman. They can't lift their legs up this high. That's why it looks so weird. So that means I'll have to change my pose, which is okay, I can figure that out. But I wouldn't have thought of it on my own. So the advice is not unwelcome. And I also don't do it for every single piece. Like, for example, I think the pinnacle of comedy is that one haunted house that takes your picture, and this one has always given me intense V vibes, so I decided to just finally draw as a silly doodle. But I've always had trouble drawing characters that are drastically different heights, but not different proportions. Like, there's a difference proportionally between giants and just really tall people compared to shorter people. I have issues with that difference. In one of my first rough sketches, Velvet looks okay, Val looks okay, Vox is a tiny little elf. But I don't need to rubber duck this, because I can easily see what the problem is, and I just need to scale Vox up until he matches Valentino's proportions better. But also, doing this mistake, I realize it's kind of funny if Valentino is so scared he's actually lifting Vox off the ground. So I'm going to keep that idea while still making Vox proportionally correct. Basically, the struggle is part of it. It doesn't make you a bad artist. Art is never easy. And every piece is its own challenge.